All right. Well, here we are at week 8 against undefeated SJ. Yeah, at what, 2 and 5 on the ranking now. Not great, but still hanging in there. It's not looking promising. Hoping to get a couple more wins at least to avoid demotion here as the season is coming close to an end. It's going to be tough this week. I've got Eshe. He's undefeated. He's having a great season. He's got a really solid team, and it would be an upset for me to beat him. But I like the team I've got. But he's still got a lot of scary stuff on his team, so it's going to be a tough one for sure. He had a lot of very scary sweeping potential, stuff like Kyurem, Ogerpon, King Gambit, Cerulege, Keldeo, Scizor, Necrozma. All of them have really good. And you can even throw Scriptail or Rhyperior in for some more obscure stuff. But they have really good setup opportunity or setup options, Swords Dance, Calm Mind, Dragon Dance, whatever. But they're not forced into it. They all pretty much are good also, with utility or choice items or just doing, wall breaking. So it's going to be tough to keep myself from being swept. His King Gambit has been going crazy this season. It's on the leaderboard. It's got a ton of kills, so he's doing a really good job with that. There's nothing real obvious with the speed tiers or type weaknesses or anything that I can really take advantage of. My Iron Valiant does outspeed everything on his team, so I do have that going for me. That's one of the main things I was looking to take advantage of this week. And it just has really nice offensive matchups in general. Looking at his type weakness chart, there's nothing super obvious. It does have a lot of weaknesses to ground, which, he's obviously got an immunity and resistance with 2 of his top 3 draft picks. So those are fairly likely to show up. And then he's got a lot of things to threaten ground type. So it's not something I could real easily exploit. And nothing on the moves really either. Pretty balanced on that side. So really, I'm just relying on Iron Valiant and building around that. And yeah, here's the team. So Iron Valiant functions as my main setup sweeper in this match. It can do a lot really because it's got the booster energy and Swords Dance as an option. So it can wall break, it can sweep, it can clean up late game. Just depends on what I need it for in that moment. Again, it outspeeds the entire team, so great speed matchups, especially against some of the things that like to set up and boost their speed, like Kyurem, Ogerpon, or Necrozma. With that booster energy, I can still outspeed and revenge kill them if I need that. Close Combat and Thunder Punch are my main moves to hit most of the team. They hit a lot of things super effectively, and at worst, they hit everything neutrally. Nothing resists both. With Terra Electric, I'll be boosting that Thunder Punch to make it more like a stab move. Terra Electric also really helps defensively with some stuff. It lets me resist Bullet Punch from Scizor and Iron Head from King Gambit. It also lets Iron Valiant resist both of Zapdos' stab types, so easily takes hits against Zapdos and can set up against it. It also makes it immune to Thunder Wave. He's got quite a few things that may use Thunder Wave, like King Gambit, Zapdos, Blissey, Screamtail. So keeps it immune so it's not crippled by Thunder Wave. And I went with Encore in the last slot rather than another attack. I think the utility of that could be really nice. He's got a lot of setup options. So being able to lock something into a setup or utility move could be really helpful for me. And he's got some defensive stuff too, like Rhyperior, Tentacruel, or Screamtail that may try to do some more utility or healing or something like that. So Encore could come in handy against that. And I didn't really like Spirit Break for a stab option. I looked at maybe Knockoff or something too. The only thing Knockoff helps damage wise would be Cerulege and Necrozma, but it still hits them very hard with a Thunder Punch anyway. So and also, both of those kind of like to run like a weakness policy maybe, so I was a little bit hesitant about that. If it's unboosted, it may be like if I don't have a Swords Dance, I could trigger a weakness policy, and that's a little bit dangerous for me. So I think Encore works a little bit better. And then also Spirit Break. He's got 2 Defiant Pokemon with Ogerpon and King Gambit, and Spirit Break guarantees the special attack drop. So that would trigger Defiant on both of those. So that's also a little bit risky too. So I may need to keep Iron Valiant healthy into the late game, at least until King Gambit is kept in check, because especially as Supreme Overlord is giving him boost late game, and he's got a few Pokemon KO'd. Because I defensively, I've got Mandibuzz for it, and Crocodile is also a good offensive answer to Revenge Kill It, but I probably am not going to want to utilize this Iron Valiant early on. It's going to be more towards the mid or late game, once I'm sure I can handle that King Gambit okay. And especially if I Terra, then I no longer resist Sucker Punch from King Gambit, so that is something to keep in mind. I lose that resistance to its Sucker Punch. I've still got Crocodile, so if Crocodile's still healthy, then I may still be okay, but that's something to consider. The EVs on Iron Valiant on speed are enough to guarantee I get that speed increase from the booster energy, and I just put a little bit extra into the HP. So overall, Iron Valiant is a huge sweeper and a huge threat to his team. I think it'll be a really good mid to late game. If I get in an advantageous position, maybe mid game, it'd be a nice to wall break and Crocodile could clean up. But generally, I'm leaning towards the late game with Iron Valiant. Next up on the list, I've got Sinistcha. So I originally had a little bit more defensive Sinistcha. This is still a pretty bulky one, but I'm running a Modest Nature with some special attack investment. But because I couldn't really fit the Landorus or Baxcalibur on this team for some real powerful wall breaking, I like the more offensive Sinistcha to kind of make up for it. I've got Nasty Plot on there to boost as well, so that'll help with wall breaking. Defensively, the Sinistcha is here primarily for Keldeo because it really has a great time against a lot of these. Diancie and Crocodile are obviously weak to it, and Mandibuzz doesn't threaten it at all. So Iron Valiant's really the only thing that could threaten the Keldeo without the Sinistcha. So I've got Sinistcha, it's able to switch in. I've got enough special defense investment with the HP to guarantee that it survives 2 choice specs Hydro Pumps. And then I have enough speed on it to outspeed. It outspeeds King Gambit. That was the easy part. But it also outspeeds I didn't want to go max or close to max outspeed a max speed Scizor, but it is enough to outspeed a Scizor that is speed crept for my Mandibuzz, which is speed crept for his King Gambit. A lot of speed creeping going on there. A chain of speed creeping. Yeah, that's all as much as I was willing to put in there, and then put the leftovers into special attack for the and with a Modest Nature for some more damage. Sinistcha also helps with Ogerpon a bit, and obviously it's immune to most of Blissey's attacking options. Well, generally Blissey's going to use Seismic Toss. I'm not super worried about Blissey because I've got plenty of physical attackers that can beat it, but it helps with that too. It is kind of nice for Screamtail, maybe Necrozma, but Keldeo is the main thing it helps for, but it does take some pressure off of Mandibuzz with checking that Ogerpon. I've got the Colbur Berry on it because he does have a lot of things that are going to try to use dark moves on it. Ogerpon is one. King Gambit and Scizor are also some things that would use dark moves. So I like the Colbur Berry to keep it alive. That Shadow Ball actually has a chance to if I get a Nasty Plot, it has a chance to one-hit KO a bulky Scizor. Depends on the bulk and the exact set. If I have hazards up, it makes it even better, but it's possible. Without any investment, it's a possible 2-hit KO, again, depending on the bulk. If he's very, very specially bulky, it doesn't get the 2-hit KO, but still, it can be really nice to wall break on that Scizor when he expects to be able to take that hit pretty easily. The Matcha Gotcha is really nice to cripple a lot of the physical attackers that switch into it that maybe don't take much damage, like King Gambit and Scizor and Kyurem if it's a physical Dragon Dance set. So that could be really nice to possibly burn them on a switch in, even though it's not doing much damage. And I've got Pain Split in the last slot for a little bit of extra healing. Strength Snap is going to be incredibly risky against his team. He's got 2 Defiant Pokemon with Ogerpon and King Gambit. Well, King Gambit may not be, and maybe Supreme Overlord, but the possibility of 2. And I don't want to give them an attack boost for free. And Tentacruel has a Liquid Ooze, so that would just hurt his initiative if I Strength Sap there as well. So Pain Split works a lot better. It's not going to heal as much, but at least is not going to punish me for using it. I did consider a Rest Sleep Talk set, but I didn't want to drop. I didn't want to do a Chesto Berry with Rest, and I didn't want to do Rest Sleep Talk because then that would take 2 move slots, and I felt like I needed those other 3 that I already had. So Sinistcha is a pretty nice wall breaker. Against a slower defensive core, it looks really nice to wall break and punish some of them, but it's primarily here for the Keldeo and then a little bit for the Ogerpon. If those are not, if he doesn't bring those, or if I'm able to kill them early, I can use Sinistcha a little bit more aggressively as a wall breaker for some other stuff. And then next up, we've got a couple of the defensive core of this team. Mandibuzz is here to check the big physical attackers. King Gambit, Cerulege, Scizor, and Ogerpon being the main ones. It's doing a lot of heavy lifting defensively, so it's not going to be reliably checking everything throughout the entirety of the game. I need to force them out with my more offensive Pokemon with Crocodile, Iron Valley, and Sinistcha, but Mandibuzz is an option to allow me to switch in when I need to. Foul Play, Rouge Defog, pretty standard stuff on Mandibuzz. I'm running Iron Defense, which is a little bit more rare. Because of all those physical attackers, it may get a little bit overwhelmed by them. A lot of them like to use Sword Stance too, so Iron Defense lets me boost to keep up with those Sword Stances. And then the biggest reason why I wanted Iron Defense was for King Gambit, because Foul Play does hit Scizor, Cerulege, and Ogerpon hard, especially if they Sword Stance. But King Gambit resists Foul Play, so it doesn't really take much damage from it. If he is using Sword Stance with it, I need that Iron Defense to keep up with the King Gambit to prevent it being overwhelmed by the boosts. So that's why I went with Iron Defense rather than something like U-Turn or Whirlwind or Toxic. Mandibuzz baits in some things like Kyurem and Zapdos, which are gonna pretty easily switch into them. So, especially if Kyurem is a special attacker. So my next couple Pokemon kind of help out in that regard. Specifically Diancie. Diancie is a specially defensive to check to both of them. It checks Zapdos really well and special attack versions of Kyurem. If its choice specs Earth Power, it could take care of this Diancie. If he locks into it, obviously I've got Sinistcha to resist and Mandibuzz is immune. But if he's not choice specs, Diancie can take an Earth Power. Pretty standard Diancie set, Diamond Storm, Body Press, Moonblast. Diamond Storm and Body Press are really strong against this team. Diamond Storm does a big chunk of damage to a lot of things that might try to switch in, even on neutral hits like Scizor or Ogerpon. And getting a defense boost could be really, really helpful. Body Press is really nice to punish King Gambit, or maybe a Kyurem or a Blissey. It does really hard damage on all of them, so it's really, really nice there. Against King Gambit, probably gonna have to be on a switch-in prediction, but yeah, it still could punish him if I time it well. Moonblast in that last slot to give a more reliable hit on Kyurem if I can't afford to miss that Diamond Storm. Also get super effective damage on Keldeo. And then, Mandibuzz and Diancie bring each other's checks in a lot, so hopefully I can rack up a lot of hazard damage with him switching a lot. I need to try to get the Stealth Rocks up as soon as I can with Diancie to rack up that damage. And Diancie's attacks are going to be doing pretty solid damage. Mandibuzz not so much unless it's a physical attacker that may be weak to Foul Play, but Diancie's still hitting hard even without any investment. Just has really nice moves. And then Jirachi is my answer to physical Kyurem, especially Dragon Dance variants, because the Dragon Dance sets can beat this especially defensive Diancie. Jirachi does get hit pretty hard by Earth Power. Again, also to KO'd by Choice Specs Earth Power, but I've got ways to handle that if he locks into it. Pretty standard Jirachi set. Iron Head, Body Slam to try to get some paralysis and flinch hacks. Encore is really nice against some of the things that might try to set up against Jirachi, especially the slower stuff like King Gambit, Scizor, Necrozma, or defensive Pokemon like Blissey. Which is really nice to heal my team. Mandibuzz is the only thing with a very reliable healing, so passing a wish to something else on my team could be really, really helpful. And then, of course, Jirachi is not a big offensive threat, but it could function as a possible win condition with Body Slam and Iron Head. You know, if I can kill Zapdos, or if he doesn't bring Zapdos, and maybe I can kill King Gambit so he can't revenge kill, then I can Body Slam, get paralysis, and then flinch hacks as a win condition. That's a viable option. Though Encore with Jirachi is pretty nice against the King Gambit. It could be some cool mind games against it with him trying to use Sucker Punch or something like that. So it could at least give me an option to more aggressively have a good matchup against that King Gambit. And then in the last set, I've got Crocodile. So at this point, I needed some more offensive power and speed control. So Crocodile does that really well. Iron Valiant can obviously clean up or sweep or wall break, but I needed something else to go along with it, and I like the Crocodile. Crocodile also is really nice because it resists Sucker Punch from King Gambit. So it's not easily revenge killed by it outside of something on his team with a Scarf. He does have some good Scarf Pokemon that, like Kyurem, Ogerpon, Keldeo, they would all outspeed and hit super effectively. But if they are Scarfed, I feel a little bit more confident about my matchup against them with the rest of my team. Though Ogerpon has a special mention with Terra getting it that speed boost. So that's another option as well. But I'm kind of relying a bit more on the defensive stuff to check it in that case. So with Crocodile, the Earthquake hits a lot of his team very hard. King Gambit, Cerulege, and Tentacruel and Rhyperior are all weak to it, so it's very nice. And then even neutral hits on like Keldeo, it's a 2-hit KO on Keldeo. So even some of the more frail offensive stuff can be 2-hit KO'd, especially if I could get some chip damage earlier on with my other stuff. It could be a really nice win condition. I'm running Moxie rather than Intimidate, of course, because he's got 2 Defiant Pokemon, so I don't want to give them boosts. So Moxie could be a really nice win condition for me with the Crocodile. Knockoff, obviously very nice utility and another stab option to hit a lot of other things neutrally. And then Stone Edge and Gunk Shot give me some additional coverage that I need. Stone Edge hits that Zapdos, and it does also hit Kyurem a little bit harder too. And Gunk Shot hits the Ogerpon and Screamtail super effectively if I need that. So yeah, that is the team. The game plan going this week is going to be to pivot around, get hazards up, try to figure out what sets he has so I know what I can set up against with Iron Valiant. And position myself with Iron Valiant and Crocodile to clean up. Obviously, the Iron Valiant is my main Terra choice, but Crocodile and Sinistcha are some other good Terra options to boost their stab moves. Terra Ground on Crocodile could boost that Earthquake, and Sinistcha with Terra Ghost could boost the Shadow Ball to maybe get some guaranteed KOs they wouldn't otherwise. And one other thing, not specific to this battle, but one thing that I think I've been doing kind of poorly this season is considering my opponent's Terra types. I need to think about that right at the beginning of the game. I think every week this season I have not looked at what type their Terra Captain is. And it's kind of screwed me because I'm not considering it until later, until that Pokemon comes up, and I think about it at that point, but I need to be considering it at the beginning of the game, especially the Terra Captain. So at the beginning of this game, I need to look at Necrozma's Terra type, figure out, what has good matchups against that, and play accordingly. It's important to look at the others too, just to have in mind what Terra types he has for the other stuff, some of the dual types to figure out, maybe checks and everything, but the Terra Captain's obviously the most important. So there's the team. I like it. I think Iron Valiant has a huge opportunity to set up. I just need to get some stuff chipped down and weaken a little bit, and then position it to be able to set up. I don't I am kind of concerned I don't have any pivoting moves this week. Mandibuzz and Jirachi, I'm not running them. So I just felt like I needed those other moves more. So I'm probably going to rely on a sacrifice or a very aggressive switch. Maybe a switch in on something like a double switch or something like that. Or a sacrifice, like if I do some wall breaking with Sinistcha early on and I KO the Keldeo, you know, I'm okay with Sinistcha dying at that point, and then maybe Iron Valiant can come in and put in an opportunity to sweep or something like that. So that's going to be my main difficulty, I think, is pivoting around with the team. I think I do have pretty good defensive matchups, but it's still, without any pivoting moves, it's going to be a little bit tough. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I will see you guys shortly when it's time for battle. All right, what's up, guys? It's time to battle SJ. All right, here we go. Okay, look at what he brought. No Ogre Pawn. Okay. No Ogre Pawn. No Keldeo. Okay, so Sinistcha is kind of free to use aggressively. He didn't bring Ogre Pawn or Keldeo. Sinistcha it's just kind of free here, honestly, to use super aggressively, because I may lead with it. He doesn't have either of the things it really has great matchups on. It's still nice against the Screamtail. And it can wall break against the Scizor and King Gambit, since it is faster, potentially. Definitely faster than the King Gambit, potentially faster than the Scizor. I've got Colbur Berry, so pretty nice there. But it has kind of a rough matchup against Zapdos, Kyurem, and Sterilage. So yeah, no Necrozma, so no Terra Captain to worry about. Steel and Scizor, Fire, Flying. He can't Terra with that. Fairy can't Terra with that. Okay. I guess Scizor and Sterilage are probably the Terra Captain or Terra options he's most likely to utilize here, I assume. Okay. What's he gonna lead with? I think maybe a Screamtail or a Scizor. I may go with Sinistcha as the lead to try to get some wall breaking in early. Mandibuzz has a lot of work to do, so just try to chip down these guys so Mandibuzz can clean up. I would go Sinistcha, I believe. I can see checks the Zapdos, and if it's a special attacker Kyurem is physical, then a Jirachi does. Jirachi's kind of gonna have a tough time. It is nice against the Kyurem and Screamtail a little bit, but struggles against these four. So yeah, all right, we go Sinistcha. How does Sinistcha look there? If he leads with Roll Edge, King Gambit, okay. Care about that, alright. He's not Supreme Overlord, is he? Do I go Mandibuzz right away? Or do I just keep the... I probably just pop the air balloon, because popping the balloon really helps Crocodile. I gotta burn, that'd be really, really helpful. Again, Sinistcha doesn't do a whole lot for me. I mean, it's okay against Screamtail and wall break against Scizor, but yeah. Let's do it. Let's go for a Machagacha, try to fish for a burn. I can Pain Split. He'd have to be Jolly to be faster, so I should be faster than him. Balloon popped, no burn. I still survive. King Gambit can Revenge Go with Earthquake. And it resists Sucker Punch, and Iron Valiant does too. Do I go for another Machigasa or do I go for a nasty plot? I think I fish for another. Keep fishing for a burn, maybe? He's faster, so he is jolly. Damn. No burns. Damn. Kinda sucks. Yeah. It's fine. I think I just go Crocodile. Assume he's gonna go Zapdos and double switch to Diancie. Go Crocodile. I'm gonna assume I'm gonna go to Diancie on the double switch. I think I kinda have to. Well, she's just gonna sack the King Gambit. I've gotta play aggressively. We double switch to Diancie, right? I've gotta play aggressive. Diancie is good for the Zapdos and Kyurem, but if it's a physical Kyurem, it doesn't matter. I need Jirachi anyway. We double switch to Diancie. Regardless, I think it's a pretty Zapdos is a pretty safe switch for him. I guess it's Crocodile because I could go close combat or what, bro? He's just sacking it. What the fuck? Okay, great. Whatever. Yeah, it's game over, dude. I'm not gonna be able to switch into Zapdos or Kyurem at all now. I don't know. I guess it's just stacking the King Gambit. Like, hey guys, Future Bulls here. I just was so stunned by this moment in the fight, I guess, and just forgot to provide any commentary. Just wanted to go back and say what I was thinking at this time with Iron Valiant and why I chose a Terra here. I ended up going with Terra because I didn't want him to switch into Zapdos here and get paralyzed by an unlucky static. So I Terra'd Electric to avoid that. But just playing it safe to avoid that. Man, I don't know. I feel like I gotta play aggressive because that's the only way I win this, and he just didn't switch. It felt pretty safe for him to switch to Zapdos because even a Stone Edge from Crocodile doesn't 2-hit KO to defensive Zapdos. I just gotta try to get Iron Valiant to do some damage. I really need the Mandibuzz to check the Scizor and Cerulege, which I can't afford to bring it in against this. It outsped by the King Gambit. Iron Head does too much damage to me. I didn't do enough damage. I don't know. Unfortunately, he didn't get any burns with Machigacha, which is unlucky on 2 hits. Of course, it's probably is obviously in his favor to get to not get burned, but it still would have been really, really helpful. Or do I go for the attack? Hold on. If he switches to like Scizor, Thunder Punch would let me get the revenge kill on another close combat. Or Ceruledge or whatever. Go for the Thunder Punch. Do I? Yeah, I mean, he's got to switch. He's going to be locked in this move. Thunder Punch is that possible to KO on that. Maybe I have to get like better resistance attacks at least. Okay. Be weak armor, maybe. Yeah. Well, of course it's weak armor, obviously. I think I probably got Mandibuzz. Just go Mandibuzz. Killing the Zapdos is going to be really hard with Nancy dead, and I can't get hazards up. And both I need for Ceruledge and Scizor. Though Iron Valiant's decent against Scizor. At least it's okay. It resists Bullet Punch. Without the screen, I can do a lot of damage with close combat. Man. The fucking staying in with King Gambit and over predicting that really fucked me up. I don't know. I'll probably go to Jirachi. I don't really have a choice. It's my only answer to Kyurem now, but I'm just gonna have to rely on revenge killing with Iron Bound or Crocodile. Perplex gone. If it's offensive, I can 2 KO Stone Edge. If it's defensive, technically it's possible to KO if he's not max bulk. If he's max bulk, it's basically not possible. Okay. Holy fuck, that's a lot of damage. He's offensive then. Okay. Is he choice specs? Jesus Christ. I think it is. Damn. They did. Yeah, he's choice specs. Okay. Damn, getting fucking rocks up would have been so good then. I would guess he's probably defogged on Scizor. He's probably a bulky utility Scizor then. If he's running specs on Zapdos, he kind of has to. Man, losing that Diancie is really killing me. Aside from that, everything is going very well. Diancie is really the only thing that's kind of fucked me. And I'm gonna spam knockoff. Okay, that's fine. Is he Ghost? Terra Ghost? He's Terra Fire. There you go for the knockoff. Oh man, if he... I don't... Alright, so if he Terras with this and I knock off, I don't kill it. And I give him a speed increase and he just sweeps me with it. Where's Terra Fire on here? But if I go Earthquake, he can switch to Zapdos safely. Because of the screens, really sucks. And if he gets Zapdos in again, man, I'm gonna have no way to hit it. Let's go for an Earthquake. Yeah, let's go for the Earthquake. I think he's gonna play pretty aggressively. Is he? Maybe it was Zapdos, I'm just kind of fucked. Don't really have an answer for that. Damn, man, I could have got 2 boosts with the... this. I got the 28k one. Well, no, I think it's a little bulky for that. I don't know. I can't... I don't know. If he goes Zapdos, at least I have a little bit of counterplay, but if he tears Fire here and I don't kill it, then I just straight up lose. Ah, damn, of course he wins Zapdos there. He's definitely choice specs. Is he gonna Volt Switch or you can go for the Hurricane? Do I just sack the Jirachi? Maybe I do. Yeah, I'm gonna sack the Jirachi. I mean, maybe he doesn't kill. If he goes for Volt Switch again, it wouldn't kill, but if he goes for Heat Wave or Thunderbolt, it would. That's okay. I just gotta play very, very aggressively. If he Volt Switches and goes back to Ceruledge, I've against my Jirachi, then I go for a Wish, and if he Switch Stances, I Encore him into it. Damn, man, this is rough because his Zapdos would be at half health right now if I could have had rocks up with Diancie. Damn. I thought for sure he'd switch. It's fine. Go back to Ceruledge. If he goes Screamtail, I go for the slower Encore on it, whatever move he uses. Drachi does outspeed everything except Screamtail and Zapdos. Speed tie with Zapdos. But obviously Zapdos has to switch out here. Alright, he might just straight up go for the attack. I could also have Shadow Sneak, I suppose, but I think it doesn't make as much sense. Alright, we go for a Wish. He just went Bitter Blade. Okay. I think I go for the setup with Iron Valiant now. We Sword Stance. If he hits me, Wish heals me. He has to be scarfed with Kyurem to revenge kill this easily. That's the only thing that could be scarfed, because that is Light Clay. I guess Scizor, but that doesn't make sense. And I resist a Bullet Punch. Zapdos is Specs. This guy, he does get Shadow Sneak potentially, but Wish heals me if he hits me with an attack first. And yeah, it could be Scarf Kyurem. That's probably, I assume that's what he's going to have with Kyurem, is a Scarf. Oh my god, I barely fucking lived it. Wish heals me pretty well. Okay, Thunder Punch gets the kill, right? Man, the what, like 16 EVs into HP really came in clutch there. Holy shit, man. How fast do I think this thing is? Or how bulky? I mean, the close combat does kill, but it makes it more susceptible to a revenge kill from Scizor. If defense and special defense get dropped, it's probably utility, because I think he's gotta be, right? I still kill that with close combat after a Sword Stance. I think I gotta go for it, because if I get the defense drop, we're really fucking rough. I just go for the Thunder Punch to play it safe, I guess. Yeah, man, if I close combat here, he easily comes in with Zapdos, I think. I guess either one is pretty safe, honestly. I don't know. I think Scarf Kyurem probably cleans up, actually. Let's see. He's modest and Crocodile is faster. But I doubt it. I had to lose the Drachi and Diancie so early. Holy shit, that's crazy. He's just sacking it, yeah. Makes sense. He's gonna Kyurem and revenge kill with the Scarf, yeah. I think that's game over. Ice Beam gets the kill and I have no counterplay to that. I have nothing, like, yeah, Crocodile and Mandibuzz are both weak to Ice Beam. Mandibuzz actually doesn't get 1-hit KO'd. But I don't think, yeah, it's just a timid Scarf, even. It's the KO. Doesn't want to KO Mandibuzz, but it doesn't matter. He could be modest. Maybe I'm lucky and he's modest. I don't know. Do I just sack the Mandibuzz just in case? And then go with Crocodile? Maybe he's a modest Scarf. Maybe he got greedy. Even if he is, Crocodile doesn't outspeed. Well, I got knockoff, actually. Knock out the Scarf. That's my only out, I think. Is if he's greedy on the Scarf and went modest. Crocodile knocks it off, and then Iron Valiant's faster and can kill it. That's probably game though. Yeah, because I used that. I had to switch out and lose that booster energy earlier. 28 to 34. No, Stone Edge goes pretty hard against his remaining team. You know what? Okay, the other out I'm thinking is he doesn't outspeed, or he doesn't one-hit KO the Mana Buzz. I get a foul play on it. Do 28 to 34. Maybe Stone Edge is enough to get a kill with Krookodile, triggering Moxie, and letting me KO the other Pokemon on the team. I don't know. I just close combat. What's more likely though? All right, so if he is greedy, the only way this works, regardless, if he's greedy on it and went modest with a scarf, so that my Krookodile is faster. Who would clean up better, Krookodile or Iron Valiant? And I don't even know if that's the case. He might just clean up with everything here with Kyurem. So if I knock it off, then I have to sack Mandibuzz, and then Krookodile comes in, knocks off the scarf, and then Iron Valiant revenge kills it with a close combat. But I don't have my boosts anymore. I can kill that in one hit, but I can't kill the Zapdos without a Swords Dance. So I think Krookodile is probably a better chance. All right, we just close combat. Yeah. Oh, he went for Earth Power? Oh my god, man. Are you kidding me? Wow. I didn't think he would. The crit didn't matter. I assumed he would just go Ice Beam. I could have gone Mandibuzz, man. What the fuck? What are these plays? They don't make any sense. Krookodile doesn't take much from an Earth Power. Stone Edge gets a 2-hit KO on all of these three. It gets a 2-hit KO on Kyurem, but it is reliant on... Well, he's going to have to switch to something. I also have to not miss my Stone Edges. I think I just go for Stone Edge, man. Knockoff doesn't do enough. Okay, got Moxie. We'll see. If he goes Kyurem, he's timid. I mean, if it's a timid Scarf Kyurem, then he wins no matter what. If he didn't get greedy. Though I guess technically Stone Edge has a chance to kill. Ah, nah. Damn. Oh man, honestly, I think I would have had a good shot there if I didn't lose a Diancie early. I don't know, man. I feel like I had to be aggressive with double switches because I didn't have any pivoting moves or anything, and you know, it's hard to move around with this team without that, and I felt like it was pretty obvious switch to Zapdos. Obviously it was choice Scarf Zapdos, so I guess he wanted it to be a little bit more safe and not risk it, but yeah, I don't know. Not a big surprise for me to lose that one. I don't know. Yeah, that's 6 losses. Man, I don't know. I guess my draft is dog shit this season. I don't know what happened. It felt like I thought I drafted well, but yeah, it's a rough one. All right. Well, I will be back in a bit for review of the battle. I'll see you guys then. Well, that was a disappointing battle. It it was pretty. I don't know. It still felt close. The huge thing was losing Diancie. And it was kind of a chain of events of bad things happening because of that. The Iron Valiant and Crocodile both were really good into his team, and the Scarf Crocodile had a shot towards the end if only he went greedy with the with the Kyurem and went modest. And the Iron Valiant was doing a lot of work putting on pressure on the team with the Sword Stance at multiple occasions. So it was very strong. It was just I had no switch into Zapdos. I ended up having to take a lot of damage with Jirachi, and I lost both Jirachi and Diancie far earlier than I really should have and wanted to. If I could have kept Diancie around to check the Zapdos, then I would have had the Jirachi around as well to help check the Kyurem. And honestly, both of them, Jirachi and Diancie, between the two of them to check Kyurem and Zapdos would have been really, really helpful. I think that was really the play that won him the game, was keeping the King Gambit in. And I over predicted, I guess, on that double switch. I guess at that point he was just sacking the King Gambit. I don't know. I don't think he expected a double switch. That's a pretty fucking crazy prediction. I think he's probably just more of a, he doesn't necessarily need King Gambit for anything else, I guess. I don't know. Outside of that, I think I played well. I think that's really the only bad play I made, was switching Diancie into the King Gambit when I expected him to switch out. I think that's really the only bad play. Outside of that, I think I did really well. The Encore worked well, and working with what I had when I was already on the back foot, I think at least kept it still competitive, that's really all I have to say about it. I think I really like my team building. I really like the team I built. I don't think I would change anything about the team, just how I played the battle, honestly. So yeah. Well, that is week 8. We've got 3 weeks to go. Next week we've got I-90. As you can see, I've got the tab down there at the bottom. I've already got some team building stuff for him in the works. So looking forward to next week. Hopefully I can cook up a fun team against I-90. I don't even know if I'm fighting to not be demoted this season now. I think if I lose one more game, I'm pretty much locked in for demotion. So we'll see. It's gonna be tough. I've got I-90, Joey, and Australian Ryan. I mean, at least I have the benefit of Joey and Australian Ryan not having great seasons. So maybe I'll have a shot there. They both seem to be in a similar situation where I'm at. I-90's having a good season though, so it's gonna be tougher against him probably. But none of these games are going to be easy, that's for sure. So hopefully we'll get something at least fun built for those games. All right, well, I will see you guys next week when I am team building for I-90.